Good. Live.
It says we're live. Fabulous. Tremendous. Believe it. Morning, everybody. I'm Bear with BearIndependent.com, founder and CEO of Refuge Medical.com, Refuge Training, president of Grindstone Ministries, and Kaleb House, and a half dozen other things we do, some of which we don't talk about. We're going to do the brief today. It is the 16th of December, 2022. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Ring the little bell icon. If you're not new here, you know what to do. Share the show with people that you love. Okay? Okay, Bear. All right, good. Sounds good, everybody. Drug and medicine shortages continue to worsen in the U.S. The pandemic continues to be cited as the cause, possibly because China is still struggling with the virus and subsequent policies that continue to interfere with both manufacturing and the supply chain in general. The offshoring of essential medicines and drugs manufacturing has become a well-known issue in the last few years. In 2020, there were shortages of 29 of 40 critical drugs for the novel virus. Now, the FDA has over 120 drugs on their shortages list, triple the amount of shortages that existed before 2020. Stats News reported that fludarabine, a chemotherapy drug, has risen in price from $110 to $2,736, and that antibiotics are 42% more likely to be in shortage in the U.S. compared to other drugs. Adderall is becoming scarce enough that some people with ADHD cannot obtain the medicine at all. The American-Made Pharmaceuticals Act was introduced to Congress this last April. The summary reads, quote, "This bill requires the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to conduct a demonstration program that gives preference to domestically manufactured drugs under Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Insurance Program, aka CHIP. The program must be conducted in at least 8 states and for at least 7 years, so I wouldn't expect any relief anytime soon. Applicable drugs include critical drugs that are needed to respond to a public health emergency and that have a vulnerable global supply chain. Preference may take the form of a reduced cost sharing, preferential treatment on formularies, bonus payments, and other specified methods," end quote. Besides this introduction, no other actions are listed in the bill. So I wouldn't get your hope up. Good morning, Donnie O'Keefe. Appreciate you. Thanks for the $5. The American-Made Pharmaceuticals Act kind of has the vibe of the I'm from the government and I'm here to help kind of thing. So wouldn't get your hopes up, although it certainly exemplifies the issues that we're having with overseas manufacture of everything, including critical medicines. So, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I know everybody's got their thing. They got a bad back, bad hips, they diabetes, lost an arm, lost a leg, whatever, right? But 99.9% of us, myself included, can probably be doing more to move our bodies, eat better, and take care of ourselves better than we are. And there's mountains of statistical research to show that the more healthy you are, the more healthy you will be. So, go do the things. Good morning, Dr. Trevor, Andy Barnes, Romans 12:18, everybody else in the chat. Meanwhile, people and their healthcare providers are often unable to get the medications they need. One Bear National wrote in saying, quote, "Cold medicine shortage. Cold medicine, and in particular children's cold and flu, are becoming unavailable from distributors. I live in New England and have also checked with stores in California that are having the same issue. I could tell you that," end quote, "domestically, or at least here, Oklahoma domestically, the great nation of Oklahoma, yeah, there's something going around as well. There's a localized saltines shortage. I took that to be an indicator that people be sick and eating, crackers and soup. Of course, there are bigger issues than just the medications. Staffing is still a major issue in healthcare." Another Bear National noted, quote, "Franciscan Health in Hammond, Indiana will stop taking ambulances and close their ER completely December 31st, 2022. Administrators cite cost and staffing. Hammond Fire Chief advises some Hammond citizens will likely lose their lives due to extended ambulance rides to surrounding area hospitals. You are on your own," end quote. Thank you, Jason Hart. Appreciate you. You're on your own, end quote. As a reminder, this is similar to multiple intel reports received from across the U.S. This is yet another indicator of the consequences of nationwide struggles in the healthcare and emergency care systems, which is why we encourage you to be the hero, right? Refuge Medical, we talk about that all the time. Be the hero. Have the kits, have the training, know how to save somebody's life. More than that, preparedness, right? Preparedness is mitigating risk. It is a form of physical insurance that you can deploy against potential disasters, whether that's a localized your life disaster, or it's a regional thing, or it's national or international. Having the material goods stockpiled and the know-how to be able to use them sets you aside, sets you apart from the vast majority of Americans and international citizens as well, so that you can have some control over the craziness that may present itself in whatever may come. The point of all this is the fragility of the system continues to rear its ugly head, even as we would very much so like it not to. This is also an economic indicator. Healthcare is a cost-intensive industry, cost-intensive sector. And in many cases, dependent upon the free or low-cost flow of capital, that's going away. That's an economic indicator. So these healthcare outfits don't have the money to pay the people or pay as many people, so they're simply not. One could potentially infer that, well, the government's broke as well, because the government pays for a lot of this stuff. It does. The issue with that being that the government gets to print its own money and then demand at the end of a gun barrel that we accept it. But it is still the best looking horse in the glue factory. From MSN.com, huge blast hits Russian oil refinery in the latest suspicious explosion. Angarsk is located almost 3,000 miles away from the front lines in Ukraine. Explosions in the last 2 weeks rocked Russian energy storage facilities in the Kursk and Bryansk regions, which sit closer to the border with Ukraine. As happened at Angarsk, the blast took place in the early morning hours and focused on energy infrastructure. 2 more explosions hit Russian air bases at Saratov and Ryazan, damaging nuclear-capable bombers being used for attacks on Ukrainian power stations. So infrastructure attacks in Russia. We know they're ongoing in Ukraine. We know they're ongoing in the United States of America. Collusion, anybody? Those are thought to have been caused, the blasts are thought to have been caused by Ukrainian drones equipped with explosives. The cause of the other blasts are unknown. Lubiov Volodkinta, a Siberian local commentating on today's explosion, said, quote, "My husband got up, went downstairs, poured himself a coffee, and looked out the window to see the Christmas tree in our yard, which we decorated yesterday. Suddenly, there was an explosion, a glow. I thought that a plane had fell on us. My daughter, 14, cried, frightened, and ran from her room. My mother phoned in panic." Thank you for humanizing the reporting, MSN. That was tremendous of you. This comes against the backdrop of multiple blasts and fires at locations with links to Russia's military or oligarchs that many suspect are being orchestrated by Ukraine. The Angarsk refinery produces jet fuel and diesel that can be used by Russia's military and is owned by oil giant Rosneft, which is owned by Putin ally Igor Sechin. It is the second fire in less than a month at the refinery, with an earlier incident reported on 27 November. Now, in Ukraine, according to RT, blasts heard throughout Ukraine. An air raid alert was announced for all parts of Ukraine on Friday morning, as media and officials reported explosions in various cities and regions, including the capital. The mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko, reported explosions in at least 3 of the city's neighborhoods and has urged residents to remain in bomb shelters. Alexei Kuleva, who heads the Kiev region's administration, claimed air defense systems around the capital were engaging incoming missiles. Reports of explosions and calls on the public to heed warnings about missile threats have come from Kharkov, Dneprovsk, Kirovograd, Poltava, and Vinnytsia regions, among others. Meanwhile, the national system warning about possible airstrikes sounded for all parts of Ukraine at about 8:30 a.m., according to the local media. There were few immediate damage reports, though the mayor of Kharkov, Igor Tarakhov, reported a blackout. Alexander Vilkul, who heads the administration of the Kryov Rog, blah, 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 claimed missiles had hit a residential building without offering further details. And in other interesting news from The Verge, a plasma physicist explains what's next after this week's nuclear fusion breakthrough. Peter Zehan had a cool little video about this yesterday, I think, talking about this nuclear fusion breakthrough. The crux of the issue being apparently these scientists have figured out how to get more energy out of the reaction than they put in. Now, currently, the more energy they get out is like 0.25% more, but it is something. And so there's talk about over the next 10 to 70 years investing in this technology to be able to essentially create free energy for everybody. The interesting thing is that this is the Biden administration talking about it. You know, if it was some guy who figured out how to power his off-road dune buggy with water and he attempted to drive it from, say, California to DC, you'd probably never hear from him again because that would be illegal. No free energy. Good morning, Crawford. Thank you. You know, if it was some guy named Nikola Tesla who figured out how to use the Earth's magnetic, the magnetism and electricity in the atmosphere, magnetic fields in order to be able to produce unlimited free energy, he'd probably die destitute and alone with all of his patents having been locked up. But, you know, the Biden administration has figured out how to make free energy, or at least they are claiming the win that these scientists have come up with after only 70 years of research and development. So, but the good news is our grandchildren's grandchildren might have unlimited free energy, maybe. Remains to be seen. That's the brief for today. It's a brief. It's Friday. It's the day of prep. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to talk about how to support the show, beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. Okay, Bear. For everybody else, Patreon. This morning we talked about hydroelectricity on Patreon. If you have hydroelectric questions, they probably got answered on Patreon this morning. There's a link in the description to every video and live stream. Check it out. Join the Patreon fam. It's $5 per month, which equates to 15 cents per video. So don't be a schlub. Join the Patreon family. Refuge Medical, which is where I am today.com. Let's see. The Adventure Kit is being featured today. There's free shipping the entire month of December. So whatever you buy, if you buy it from the store, you can buy it because it's in stock. In stock means we physically have it, which means it'll probably ship today. And when it ships, you'll probably get a text message from somebody who packed your order saying, "Hey, Bob, thanks for buying this Adventure Kit. You sound like a badass American. We really appreciate you for supporting us. You have a blessed day, all right?" So you can see your order going in the box and being shipped out. Tourniquets, while supplies last, meaning today is probably the last day for this. The Cat Gen 7 tourniquet is buy one, get one half off currently. So, and the pricing will look weird until you check out. It will look weird in your cart, but I promise you it'll all work itself out in the wash when you check out. Okay. So buy one, get one half off tourniquets, which is essentially cat tourniquets at cost while supplies last. And they're probably not going to last through today. So I recommend you jump on that. Jason Hart said, "Yeah, I got my text. Badass company." Thank you, Jason. RL said, "Best customer support ever." Appreciate y'all. So let's see. Free shipping all of December. The HSA and FSA, health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts, many of them reset at the end of this month. And the way the majority of those programs are based is if you don't use it, you lose it. So that money that was taken out of your paycheck matched by your employer, if you don't use it, it's gone. You don't get it back. And so it is December. It is the season of giving. Give the gift of life. Use your HSA on all kits, all components in the store at Refuge Medical. Very briefly, this is an adventure kit. This is the Adventure 2.0. Handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. It's got all the contents of a bear fac inside of it. You get this really awesome bag. This is made right up the road by one of our sewing contractors for us. Also, we have a handful of black multicam kits left over from Multicam Monday and Black Friday. So if you missed out on that, get them in the store. They're there today. Okay. I'm going to briefly show you what's in the adventure kit. Briefly. Look, a trauma pack. Gauze. You got your quick clot, eye shield, gloves, tape, 2x2s, 4x4s, 5x9s, duct tape, triangle bandage, survival blanket, compressed gauze, rolled gauze. This is going to take forever. I'm going to have to plow through this. Olay's bandage, S-Mark bandage, soft T tourniquet, shears, Sharpie, sharp shuttle, burn shield dressings. By the way, I specifically size these back pockets right here so they'll hold AR or AR-15 or AR-10 or AK magazines. So if you want the bag only option, get the bag only option. This is a really cool bag. Gauze module right here, 2x2s, 4x4s, 5x9s, iPads, etc. SK6 suture kit, 20 sutures, surgical drape, half a dozen or more medical grade surgical tools inside of here. Gauze, venous tourniquets, tape, etc. SK6 suture kit inside of here. Airway module, with 5x9s, nasopharyngeal airway, and a pair of chest seals. Ace bandage, sports medicine injuries. Cohesive bandage for keeping things nice and tightly tucked together. All your little wipes and creams and boo-boo stuff and disinfectants. But wait, there's more. Sam splint. You use this for splinting arms, for splinting legs. You can make a C-collar out of this for immobilization and splinting. Benadryl, allergy meds. Loperamide, anti-diarrheal meds. And then, there's another pocket back here. What's inside of here? Gloves, because if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. Creams, triple antibiotic and hydrocortisone cream. Glucose, if you have somebody who's having a diabetic emergency. Tape, including duct tape and medical tape. Trioral rehydration salts, in case you got somebody who's getting loopy because they're dehydrated. OTC meds, Motrin, aspirin, acetaminophen, etc. More rehydration salts. Splinter out, in case you get a little splinter in your fingy. Band-aids, knuckle band-aids, and fingy band-aids, and toe band-aids, and all of that. And steri strips for wound closure. Yeah, I know, super comprehensive kit. Somebody here is going to be annoyed with me because they have to repack this entire kit, but I just wanted you to see what's actually in this damn thing. And it's, again, here's the internal of the bag. If you want the bag only, this makes a really good little handheld go bag, bump in the night bag, diaper bag, cool guy bag, whatever. And handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. You break it, I'll replace it. If you use the contents of this kit to save somebody's life, I'll replace the contents at no cost to you. Got it? Got it, Bear. We tracking? Tracking like a tank, Bear. All right, cool. So that's refugemedical.com. Refuge training. Hey, good news. If you're in or near Louisiana, Baton Rouge, today, the Baton Rouge Responder 1 class, our intro to tactical medicine, is 20% off today. No promo code needed, automatically adjusted in the store, 20% off. If you're not in Baton Rouge, pulling up refugetraining.com, we have classes in Baton Rouge, a whole bunch in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, a whole bunch in Waco, Texas, classes in Boise, Idaho, classes in Tell City, Indiana, more classes in Indiana, more classes in Waco. So find the class that's nearest to you and freaking come to class and learn the fine art of how to not die. Okay? Okay. Thank you, B-Tam. Good morning from not Iowa. And then lastly, Grindstone Ministries, it's the end of the year giving. Please prayerfully consider supporting Grindstone Ministries, our disaster relief efforts, and our anti-human trafficking efforts. You can find hoodies, t-shirts, and long sleeve shirts to support the construction fund for Kaleb House. There's a link in the description. And our brother Saw Not Feeling shirt from Sanctified Supply Co. There's a link to that in the description as well. Proceeds from that are going to support the building fund for Kaleb House. And that's the brief for today. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Y'all have a blessed day. Liberty's going to have to hit the button on the TikTok machine. I appreciate y'all very much. Go do the things, Bear Nation. Shalom.